This is the eye test.
This is the eye test. Ring gang.
Radio. This is the eye test.
Yes. Hey, PJ. What it do? Where you at, man?
I'm in my bunker in the undisclosed location of somewhere, Canada. How about you?
Man, you know, I'm in the I can't say always sunny for a lot of the Florida. Can't say, there's no beaches and shit. It's all gloomy and shit. It's depressing looking outside. So yeah, I'm just in the sunny I'm in the gloomy South Florida. Gloomy, it's raining and shit.
Yep. Clouds are just looking at people funny, mean mugging everybody.
Yeah, just outside looking, clouds ice grilling niggas and shit. So, it look like it's getting into hurricane season. So, that's how shit looking right now. But I know you want to speak on this boxing shit. And so what was popping, man? Started off, bro. Eye test.
Yes. We're talking about, especially what I want to discuss is what could be happening for the future of boxing. Because just recently, the UFC has been starting to look into, not even looking into, but they have started with a card where there's absolutely no crowds, pretty much an empty venue, and only essential staff. So basically the corner, the camera people, and I can't remember if there were commentators or not in it, but I don't really consider them that essential. But basically the fighters, the referees, and the corners.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I think a blow-by-blow guy is essential.
I mean, they could do it from their house.
Yeah, but nah, I want someone there, because somebody has to be there that's on the outside, that's damn hearing the contact and the that's right there, that's not a part of either team or whatnot.
That is 100% true. But there's one thing that I definitely noticed, which I think might be very important to realize that people were paying attention if they saw it, is because there's no crowd, you can hear the corner. So you can actually hear proper instructions being given. Or shitty instructions. You don't know what they're saying. But now you can.
Yeah. So
but otherwise,
some gems. You gonna get some let the tiger out his cage type shit.
Yeah, get out of the cage and get slapped right back in.
Man.
But because they're now going through that whole process, and obviously they're doing active checks and things like that. Like the last card, somebody did test positive, so they canceled that fight and obviously immediately quarantined the person, double checked everybody else again. But otherwise, they still went through with the card. They are still following extra steps. I'm assuming, I cannot 100% remember after the fight if they scrubbed them down or wash them down, one of the two. But to make sure that everything is safe. So my question now is, do you think boxing might fall down this road, or they might consider trying something of that sort?
I mean, they need to. I think so.
My next question is, do you think it might which do you think it might lean more towards? Because now it's not about necessarily like that big name. I mean, the big name still matters, but now it's kind of like there's a drought of fights. So like drought of sports, I should say, just sports in general. So people are feeding for sports. So that means, okay.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing with boxing. Whenever the sport gets too desperate, then the theatrics and shenanigans and all that shit just kind of boosts itself up. Like, if you start feeding the desperation of boxing, they're just gonna start throwing any type of fight at us.
This is true.
And yeah, I don't really want to go through the damn these career mode matchups. Like, these fights gotta have some type of significance, gotta have some type of meaning behind them. So yeah, was UFC shit done on the island like how Dana White was saying?
I cannot remember. I was just mostly focused on the fights. I didn't really care about the venue. I was more surprised that it happened.
Yeah, I mean,
because I remember the last time they did talk about that, where Dana White saying like, "Oh, we're gonna have this, have all of that." Mickey Mouse came and slapped the shit out of him and told him no.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. The promoters and figureheads and everybody, they always saying what can happen. You know, it's a lot of idealistic talk.
Yeah, when that giant white glove of Disney shows up behind you, it's a wrap.
So, but Dana White, he actually stuck to his word and then it made something happen. So you got to salute him for that.
This is true. He is very determined to make sure people get what they want, get the fights that they want, and also get money.
So, I look at, it's comparing it to boxing.
Which also adds to the other thing I wanted to find out. Because of the situation and how they have to figure out for fights there, does it bring back pay-per-view, or do you think streaming will be like stronger? Like say like DAZN versus like, you know, pay-per-view on this network.
Streaming's not gonna go away, but
yeah,
you gotta look at it, see if all the big entities are gonna damn pursue the streaming route. Like, I don't know if PBC would do that. They don't really have a whole streaming thing going on, but DAZN and ESPN has that.
Yes.
So I would love to see, you know, I don't think pay-per-view would be a good idea right now. Unless, you know, and I'm just saying, you know, unless it for facility reasons where, you know, certain costs boxing has to cover, and if you want to do a pay-per-view, sure, yeah, you know, $20, you know, $30, that type of shit, if you want to go that route. But then you got to have some good matchups, man, and
that's true.
So, you know, you can't have the server drop, and everything got to be on point if you're gonna do it like that. Because even with DAZN, you know, they should be dropping on certain fights.
I've had my heart broken in a couple of
civilization was normal.
Yes, true. I said, yeah, I've had my heart broken in a couple of DAZN fights where it just suddenly went blank. Then all of a sudden it said, "Oh, the fight's over."
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And it's like, we you know, that was when the world was on some normal shit. But now, pandemic, more people home, you know, people crazy. So no one don't want to go out, have to go through paying some money for some shit, and it's not working. It just, you know, especially a stream, are you feeling for some fades? Nah, that shit gotta work. So
on the other hand, though, because they know how drastic it could be for things to go wrong, it could also make them be like, we need to invest more into this shit. We need to make sure we have a backup. We need to make sure we have all this. But I just don't know
infrastructure set up.
Exactly. And then also because of, like, you're talking about the good matchups, I know, well, any fighter will know, like, if they don't get a chance to at least have that experience of, like, you know, punching somebody in the face, they'll be like, I'll take whatever matchup. You know, that guy we're talking about, you know, like, we've been going back and forth with, let's do it. Like, I'll go to that house.
I mean, it need to happen. Boxing's gonna need a little shot in the arm once shit start rolling. You know, you can't, you know, everybody, and especially the big names, everybody can't get into a damn career mode, comeback, tune-up fight. It ain't gonna work like that. Certain fighters I can understand, but it can't be everybody.
The best
Some people just gonna have to pick up where they left off.
Exactly. If they want a career mode fight, the best they can do is just fire up Fight Night Champion.
Yeah.
You know, hit the controls real quick, try and shadow box it all, and be like, oh, it's about as good as I can get.
I mean, but to run that Fight Night or the fucking Knockout Kings, something.
Ooh, Knockout Kings.
So you want to play easy mode or career mode and shit. You know the fans, they want to see real fights when this shit start rolling. So speaking of real fights and boxers looking to get it on, and I guess, you know, on some Scott Pilgrim versus the world type shit, Ryan Garcia think he could take on everybody.
Oh yeah, I saw him do his How to Rob tape drop out there. Yeah.
He that I could have heard 50 Cent ad-libs in the damn tweets, bro. Like, he want to fight MMA dudes, he want to do this, do that, and he got into it with Abner Mares.
I'm amazed that he basically did the equivalent of How to Rob and Piggy Bank all at the same time.
Yeah, he got everybody in a little tizzy fit on Twitter and shit. But I mean, I felt what Abner Mares was saying though. Like, he was saying some real shit, and I think he shot enough fades with top competition where he could say that.
Yeah, no matter how many low blows there were, but yes.
Yeah, I still can't forgive him for that fucking first Egg Becco fight. Nah, bro. Like, but he good in my book.
He is.
But yeah, that old thinking about fighting MMA guys before you even done shit in boxing. Yeah, that's a bad look. Like, chill, young man.
Yeah, it's mostly like he was saying, it's just like focus on your lane before you start talking to these guys for the MMA fights. But it's also like people are restless, and I guess Ryan was just the first guy to say it.
I mean, he stay on Twitter, running his fingers, but I guess it's May. We getting ready for that July fuckery, that midsummer, peak fuckery. So
Summer Jam, Summer Jam comes early.
They getting it early in May. So Abner Mares went back and forth with Haney and Lopez, Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney been going at it. It seemed like the lightweight division been really popping as far as the Twitter fingers, but I just wanted to see these fights when shit come back.
This is true. One of the things that definitely happens, because you can tell like when they do go back and forth, and both guys are both willing to go down with it. It's just once in a while, well, not once in a while, more often than not, their management are like, "The fuck you doing?" Like, you can't
like, chill. Hold on, bro. You you can't take that type of fight. I mean, even Jorge Linares got into it because he was like on some like, yeah, you need to. I'm still waiting, and I'm like, bro, like, honestly, we need some mega cards when boxing comes back.
Speaking of Linares,
all this shit on one card.
Yeah, but the one thing that got me about Linares was when Ryan Garcia was going back at Abner, he just threw a stray at Linares for no good reason. I was just like, wait, he wasn't even part of the conversation.
That shit was sounding like the rant on the end that hit him up with Tupac doing the spoken word.
Yeah, or it was like Minority Report.
In the bar.
He was like going through Minority Report. It's just like, yo, I know Linares gonna say something, so fuck you before it happens.
Because but Linares had responded with some real shit too about how when he was 21 he became champion, and Ryan Garcia like, what you doing, bro? Like, so, and then I fucks with Ryan Garcia. Like, he has an exciting style, but it seemed like he was on the verge of some progress this year, right when everything went down. So I could feel why he's a little anxious, but. Yeah, just keep it within boxing, bro. Leave the UFC and MMA guys alone. Do something here first.
Yeah, because I do know it's still floating around the rumor mill. Dana White still wants to try and make his own boxing promotion, so we'll see.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that.
Might be called Bald Head Boxing for all we know.
Bald Head Boxing.
We copyright that, by the way.
I mean, Dana White, he always trying to make something happen. I feel like we got our version of him and Eddie Hearn.
That's true. He's like that one friend. He's just like, yo, we can make this happen, guys. Don't worry. Just leave it all to me. Leave it all to me. You ask him like the day of the night. It's just nah, bro. But next week I got it.
So it's interesting. And Lomachenko, Teofimo, that matchup's still out there.
Yep, it is still something that, and rightfully so, people are asking about, because it was just like, hey, they're there. Why not? Teofimo was just like, yo, I'm gonna do this. Lomachenko's just like, he's like, good boy. Sure, why not? Maybe one day.
But Teofimo, the one who really has a real legit scalp on his resume, and he became a real world champion. But I know they were trying to get at Haney about him had the belt and shit. He was given the belt and everything, but I mean, he beat everyone he was supposed to fight.
Yeah, I can't.
Lomachenko, the one asked for that voluntary shit, like how Canelo was on. So, but I can't really get at Lomachenko because he had a fight lined up with Teofimo, who, we've been trying to see that fight. So it's a lot of shit that just needs to be straightened out at lightweight. You got some good potential matchups. I feel like, Ryan Garcia and Linares need to get it on when shit come back. And I feel like the winner of that need to get Devin Haney.
And have Mares as the commentator.
Oh, hell yeah. Mares definitely got to commentate on that fight. y'all gotta do a cross promotion, some shit. Y'all gotta.
I mean, this is the perfect time to think of any idea because all people have outside of working remotely is time.
Yeah, I mean, get a studio fight going. Shit, stream it on the zone. Shit, people already paying for it. Like,
You'll do it. You know what? Because they're doing it for music, you might as well just like Box's IG battle if they want. Like, just run their mouths at each other.
That could be dope. I mean, they could. All the platforms could get more creative now. Like, let's start getting these interactions going. Why y'all blowing up Twitter when y'all could blow up your own platforms?
Yeah, for all you know, they could be like, "Yo, what's your online ID? Let's play Fight Night."
Get these matchups starting, but it's crazy now. A lot of the this generation, they want to do a lot of the management, matchmaking and shit, but then when it's time for the fights, it's like everything moves so slow. I know with Benavidez is always going at Caleb Plant, but at his own managers already said he needed 2 tune-ups before that could happen.
Yeah,
so it just seemed like this era, you're not going to really get a lot of all-time greats from this era of boxers. The way
I would say the managers back then were super sketchy as hell, but they did make the big fights happen faster.
Yeah, it seemed like there was just more risk involved.
But wasn't it also because there was just less belt organizations too?
There was less what?
Belt organizations.
I mean, you've had about 3 belts for damn last 30, 40 years. And I think that WBO ain't really started getting no respect until like the late 90s.
Bob had to throw enough money before it started to happen.
And no one was really fucking with the WBO like that.
Ooh, actually, the other thing too, were there as many networks back then? Because I know for back then it was mostly HBO. There wasn't really was Showtime then? I can't remember.
Yeah, of course. Showtime been on point, been there for a long ass time too. So
yeah, I just mostly remember HBO.
Yeah, because they had all the marquee names until they went on Showtime. Tyson, Don King took all of them like a label split.
Mm-hmm. So
Rockefeller shit, like, yeah, I'm gonna take state property and you can take these niggas. I'm gonna take Dipset. You can take them. so that's how that shit was looking. But another thing I want to speak on. I know we was speaking on this earlier off the air and shit, but seeing that everything in boxing moves so slower now, and you're getting a lot of borderline Hall of Famers, not a lot of outright Hall of Famers and all-time greats in this era. And one thing is because fighters can't string off enough dominant performances against top-level opposition, so you get a lot of up and down performances sometimes. And
shout outs to Billy Joe.
That sounds just that hot and cold shit. So when you look at that, I'm hearing when we talk about attributes and characteristics that you want a boxer to have, and we talk about talent and speed and power and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people start putting discipline in there, like discipline is a talent. And I just want to know, like, how you feel about it, because I disagree. I don't really feel like discipline's a talent.
When did discipline ever become a talent?
I mean, like, could there ever be, man?
I mean,
people get more impressed when someone's able to go and do something over and over again at a higher level than someone who could just do it once or twice and then they mess up another time and then they get back on track. Like, so when you like say you look at a guy like Floyd Mayweather Jr. who he didn't really like his off nights, he still won clean, clear fights. He didn't look spectacular every night, but he had the discipline to always train, approach every fight with the correct game plan, always be in shape, he could go 12 rounds.
Mhm.
You know, he was always prepared, but people make that a discipline. People make the discipline of that. People making that like a talent now. Like they holding it up there like with quick hands or knockout power.
Really now?
I mean, when I be on the message boards and circulating and shit, and you know, you see the little comments on highlight videos and shit, and
Is it because like the documentary The Last Dance came out?
I don't know. Because then you gotta look at because Jordan, we look at Jordan was disciplined, but on the same hand, he was drinking and gambling and doing what the fuck he wanted to.
Yeah, he has Crown Royal eyes now.
Yeah, he did. The Crown Royal, the cheese eyes.
His eyes legit do look like he like dumps them in Crown Royal every night.
So that's how I'm looking at it. Like,
okay, so I guess my first thing is, I think maybe I'm like, are people like also kind of like mixing up like discipline with work ethic? Because discipline is like you're taught it, you learn it. It's something that you just develop over time. It's just how frequently do you stay in that lane versus like, you know, veering away from it. Because I've always seen it as like everybody has a level of discipline. It's not necessarily a talent to be more disciplined than others, but that also kind of sounds like maybe people are so used to people like screwing up or like going lax on what they're doing. So when they see somebody who's like a bit more straight and narrow than everybody else, they just think like, oh, it's something new. But I've always thought like hard workers always exist. They're always there. The only reason why you never hear from them because they never talk. So I don't think it's a talent. It's just something. It's like a personality trait. You just develop it.
Yeah, you just get them. You try to get the most out of it. That's how I look at it. It's having your routine and sticking with it no matter what, and doing what you got to do.
Shit, my job's never given me like a raise for being like, oh, you know what, you're disciplined.
But when people talk about top fighters, that's one thing they point out, and they try to make it seem like it's a damn attribute.
I mean, if anything, it's just like maybe work ethic, but I wouldn't consider discipline a talent. You're not like born with it or have anything that's natural with it. It's just something that you learn and develop as you go through. Literally, it's a skill. You develop a skill, consistently work with it, it gets better over time. And then just like most things, like if you're in something that involves a certain level like experience or like dedication, like most sports or even like passions or careers, you have to get to a level of obsession with it where you're just like you're willing to cut off other stuff because of it. Whoa. And the other thing too is like a lot of times it's like, oh, this person, they have this. I'm like, also, anytime we've ever seen training footage of these fighters, it's highlight reels essentially. They don't really show you on their off days unless they want to. They don't really show you about like the other days where maybe that fighter, I didn't say him, but him or her going back and forth with their coach about like things that they don't agree with. Like you're missing like little shitty bits that lead to that discipline that they
see. When you say all that, I feel like, you know, boxing is missing like real great TV right now.
Oh God.
Like, I think that's what's missing. Like there's a disconnection. Like I'm not saying like the secrets of your training routine and shit has to be, you know, put out on Front Street, but I think people really want to see like some legit boxing training and not these little manufactured highlights where they do like the little bullshit mitts or something and someone gets their Morgan Freeman narration on over that shit. Like trying to make it deeper than what it is. Like God damn it, he's just doing the mitts. Like
I literally immediately thought of a couple of YouTubers. I will censor myself real quick here, but I am dying right now from that statement.
But I'm just saying, like that's what's missing. Like there's no, it seems like there's no authenticity with the damn these behind the scenes shows. So we hear discipline and we see these little glimmer highlights, but we're not seeing like some real like okay, like God damn. Like you see how they used to do highlights of James Kirkland's training with
oh my God.
that shit was exciting. That shit was dope. Like, and you see how they'll show like when Juan Manuel Marquez had this little training, he'll be sparring people. He's getting ready for Pacquiao or Floyd. You know, like that's the shit people
like the
see.
Showtime, like those little Showtime documentaries when they actually decided to record decent shit.
Like the bullshit these cats on now, it's like like. But then you see all these mistakes these boxers making these fights. You kind of wonder, like, damn, no wonder they don't want no one to see their training.
True, but at the same time, it's just like people are human. Everyone's bound to make a fuck up at some point. But if it's like too frequent, then yeah, it's a dead tail sign.
Yeah, I love to see the damn behind the scenes, the duration of Wilder's training.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you're gonna see some fuckery and so many boxing mistakes made in that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be like,
Leave me alone, nigga.
You already know. Elbows all out, no defense.
Jesus.
Feet too wide apart.
Yo, stop hurting me, dude.
Straight back.
Bruh, stop.
You saw so many cardinal boxing rules broken in that shit.
What's also just driving me up the wall is just like, because I'm like, I still back Wilder, but at the same time, like, you're not wrong at all.
Yeah, man.
It's like the other side of me is just kicking in. I'm just like,
I'm just being honest, man.
Technique.
I just look at it like I wouldn't put.
Shit up.
See, okay, like someone would say, like, well, you know, Wilder has talent, but he don't have that disciplined talent because he hasn't really honed his skills. And I'm like, hold on, like, nah, like, you can't put that shit in there.
Okay. This is something that needs to be cleared out right now. Okay. One aspect of discipline is literally just being willing to show up to the gym every day. You can have discipline, but what happens within the gym is a whole nother story. How you interact with your coach is a whole nother story. How you like process and take the stuff in and make it work is a whole nother story. But I'm just like, if somebody just like blanketed like just discipline, oh my god.
I mean, it's just like school. Like,
I know.
You know, the government say you know your kid is supposed to be in school from such and such hour to this hour. Now you're there. You're not breaking the law or anything. You're in the school, but are you getting anything out of that?
No. You're just meeting the bare minimum.
Yeah, like he didn't. No one's saying that. Okay, when you go to school, you gotta make sure you know you get good grades. That's the law. You know, no one's doing that for boxing. You know,
Bro,
go to the gym.
I would have been in jail if they did something like that. Was the law? Getting good grades.
So you know, so yeah, you could go to the gym all the time, but what the fuck you learning in that bitch?
Yeah, and it happens all the time. And also, you might be learning stuff because it's one thing to be like somebody who just like buggers off when they're like, you know, the coach is talking about something, but they might be working with the coach, they're doing this, they show signs of it, but as soon as they walk out of that door, just leaves out of the other ear.
Yep.
And you know what? That is the one thing that breaks my heart a lot. Until I find more evidence.
Maybe like some substitute teachers.
Until there's more evidence that's confirming it for Wilder, I'm going to leave it up in the air.
I mean, I like to see what he can do in the third fight.
I'm curious to see too, because he's definitely got like, you know, that whole competitive like, nah, run it back. So I'm like, all right. But you know, when somebody says run it back immediately, one of two things are going to happen. You're either going to change drastically, or it's going to be a worse beating.
Yeah, and we don't know if that's the fight that's going to happen next, because all this whole talk about Fury and Anthony Joshua, but I doubt they're going to give these guys any type of step aside money that's going to be appealing enough. You know, and I think might just enjoy whooping Wilder's ass. So
I was also gonna say, Hearn also has like an amazing talent for bungling this stuff up. So
yeah. Like don't throw any last minute tricks, man. Just make let Joshua fight Pulev and let Fury just finish off Wilder.
I am so hurt by hearing that last statement.
I mean, it is what it. I mean, I called the fight, like, you know, no cap. It's on the damn podcast. It's on YouTube. I picked down Fury by damn 7th round KO for the rematch. So,
and anybody who's heard me before on this or other shows, I've always said, like, I'm fully aware of Wilder's like issues. I just find him entertaining. He just cracks me up, and you know what? That one-hitter critic does make a difference sometimes. Except that last fight, no, that never came out because Fury knew, and he found a way to stop it.
Yep. And then that's all it is. So I'm not just saying. See, the difference is there's people who shit on Wilder, but they predicted him to win, and they shit on him to the point where it's like, well, damn, why'd you pick him to win then? You know, and even Pat, shout out to Pat, even Pat does that shit.
He's like the architect of it.
Yeah, so I always gotta be there, like, look, chill, like, yeah, it's one thing to critique Wilder and all that, but you can't be getting on this man like that when you knew he had those damn flaws and you still picked his ass to win. After you saw what happened in the first fight.
Yeah, because I've fully accepted and explained exactly what went wrong for like that, and I even said, like, you know what? I know it's probably gonna go soft with me. I don't care. I'm still sticking with it.
You keep it. You keep it G though. Like you don't be shitting on Wilder like a lot of people do. Like so many commenters, so many people was on Twitter with that. You know, with the what's that Sunday morning coaching,
weekend coaches.
Yeah,
weekend warriors, coaches. Weekend coaching.
So that's how I'm looking at it. But like, yeah, as far as that, like, yeah, discipline, yeah, that's something that you want to work on and develop and get on point. You want to love it and love the discipline and all that shit. But
also, discipline
ain't no fucking talent.
Discipline is also too vague of a term. It's too vague. It covers way too much.
Yeah. Because
I know, like, there's some people who are disciplined in certain aspects. But I know there's some people who would treat them like absolute weirdos. Like if people remember in college, like, you know, those odd kids who were just in the library all day and you just consider them weird, they're disciplined. So what do you expect? If they're killing you in grades, guess what? They're disciplined. Were they necessarily talented? No, you saw that as doing the same thing every day.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like, stop making being focused a fucking talent. Like it's a special power. Like, chill with that shit.
Yeah, focus is just something like you want to do. Like if you've ever taken an L in a video game and you're just like, nah, fuck that. You like lean forward in the chair. You turn your cap around. Yeah, your talent skill has now increased. So it's just your focus.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like motherfuckers be making it seem like. You fucking metamorphosize or you do some Bane shit, like you pump up yourself and like, yeah, okay. Discipline reached maximum.
Yeah. Or like where people kept talking about Ultra Instinct. I'm just like, bruh, it's just focus.
Yeah, just focus. So yeah, I'm not gonna give nobody talent points for being a little more focused. So yeah, nix that. It ain't gonna be, you know, should I look at I look at fighter instinct as more of a talent than discipline.
Yeah, because like some people are like natural finishers. They can just sense when somebody's hurt, so they're going to try and put you away.
They got that shark instinct, you know.
Exactly. The scary shark is the one who can sense it, but they're not going to like jump at you. They're going to set you up.
And then boom.
That's just a hitman. Not even a shark. That's just a hitman.
So that's all I really got to say on that. Any final thoughts? Anything else?
I can understand where people are saying like, oh, let's look at certain attributes and things like that. One of the biggest things, like in sports, like in school, like everything else, it's based on how much work you put in and how much you're dedicated to the craft. There is a reason why your favorite athlete seems like an oddball in regular conversation, because they didn't focus on like certain things. They just focused on what? The game. They focused on the boxing, MMA, basketball, Look how many people talk about how Kawhi Leonard is robotic as hell. He's too focused on the game. Or how many people come later on saying about MJ. He's just like, oh, he was an asshole. He was focused on winning, involving, getting better. And
See,
also,
but damn, people do it on the flip side and be like, well, damn.
yeah,
Like,
I mean,
you can't spread that out to any other parts of your life. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, niggas is human. It ain't gonna be perfect.
if anything, this is a big shout out to anybody who had this something along this lines, and maybe they made something out of it. But if your parents ever told you like, oh, all you do is XYZ all day, like, you know, play video games, stuff like that, or all this little basketball all day, is just like, and eventually becomes something that worked out. Hey, guess what? You're no different than some of those athletes. It just depends how socially accepted it is. And I can't wait for whatever backlash I get from that, because that could go in any direction.
Nah. Repeat. My bad. Damn. Other Ring Gang member just called me. Can you repeat the last shit you just said, bro?
I said, oh boy, and I quote. Oh, actually, this gives me a chance to make a more proper version of this. If there's something you're passionate about, especially back in the day where your parents would complain you were way too obsessed with it, but it eventually led to something that you can make a success off of, you're no different than some of these athletes and people you idolize. Discipline is just something what you're passionate and what you decide to put your effort and energy into to make something come out of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, I would agree with that. Hell yeah, that's a good way to like conclude that shit. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
especially if you're able to monetize your discipline, so that's even better.
Yeah, and if you can, start finding a way. Everybody's in quarantine right now, so here's your chance to make money.
Yeah, definitely.
Legally.
legally. Niggas start trapping out the boxing gym. Got the kilos in the damn Everlast heavy bag.
Baby, won't you punch my way?
Oh man, so that's about it today for the eye test. You know,
Yes, sir.
let's talk about, you know, that boxing, that real shit. We'll be back on it again soon. Any final thoughts, PJ?
Heavy quotations on soon.
Yeah, you know how it is if you fuck with us already. Eye test just come when it comes. You feel me?
It's a concept of time. Our concept and your concept are different.
It's like a counterpunch that you know is coming, but you never know when it's coming.
You believe in deadlines. We just believe someday.
Yeah. So you gonna get it like the taxes.
Oh, okay. We're not as bad as taxes. So.
But yeah, just y'all make sure y'all check out ringgameradio.com for all the flash shit we do, the articles. I know PJ probably gonna have one by next week. You know.
Yeah.
Message.
Yeah.
You know, okay, nigga, I got you. But you know, we just on point with this shit. So follow us at Ring Game Radio, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. It's Shutterworth, Lauderdale Boss, LB, Soul Wars. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Shutterworth, Soul Wars. And, you know, the fight architect over here, PJ.
Yes, sir. You can find me on Instagram, PJC Luhanga, to spell the last name, PJC LUHANGA. Otherwise, just look for my articles on ringgangradio.com.
Yeah, all else fails, just follow Ring Game Radio.
Exactly. I'll pop up sometime.
Yeah, for real. You see us. So if that's it. I test 1.
Peace.